In today's video, we unbox Conan from Monolith Games. Let's take a look. Here we have Conan from Monolith Games. It is rated for ages 14 plus with a player count of 2 to 5 with an average runtime of 90 minutes. This is a mature rated game, so that 14 plus is highly recommended here within this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back. Here we can see the miniatures that are within the game. That is pretty cool. A base outline of what the components and everything might look like. Once again, the restrictions at 14 plus, 2 to 5 players at a 90-minute runtime. Enter the realm of Hyboria and fight alongside Conan. Relive the Chimerian's greatest adventures with 8 unique scenarios that take you across all of Hyboria. From hearth-lit taverns to shark-infested waters. From picked villages to Bosonian strongholds. You get to witness Conan's defining moments firsthand. Joining the iconic barbarian are Shivesta, the master thief, Hyborthus, the priest of Astora, and Belit, the queen of the Black Coast. One player among you is the Overlord, who commands the forces of the darkness and opposes the heroes at every turn. At his disposal are ferocious beasts, demons of the Outer Bank, evil necromancers, and the notorious Zogar Sag. With his hordes of picked warriors, the Overlord holds the advantage unless the heroes work together. And only the craftiest side will emerge victorious. Now you can create your own Hyborian legend. Well, this game sounds a whole lot of fun. I love the idea of being able to play Conan and having the Overlord as the villain, especially with the new Kickstarter coming, which allows a solo option to this game. Provides even more potential play here. Let's go ahead and crack this guy open and see what we have on the inside. Well, first up we have the Overlord's book, Hero's book, and then these would probably be our hero tiles. Let's go ahead and start with the Overlord book. Flipping to the back, special rules. Just looking, because a lot of times here in these books, there is some kind of reference sheet or something here on the back. So just, I always like to flip that to the back to see what kind of thing there is here. I don't know this game. I have yet to actually play, so I don't know if there are any kind of spoilers here within the Overlord book or if this is a rule book. So potential spoiler warnings. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this. But once again, I don't know. Yes, I'm guessing this is just the reference, the rules. The Overlord's turn, yeah. And here we're getting some scenarios. Some special rules of them, the winning the game. Yes, these would be the different scenarios that we have, because they talked about having 8 different scenarios in the game. So that is cool. I love how you have the ship with the two decks there. I'm guessing it's gonna be like the over and the top and the inside. That's so cool. I think they've even done in one of their expansions a similar thing where it's like a tower and you have the different levels in the tower. That, oh, I have to get my hands on that. Sounds so cool. Alright, so next we will go ahead and take a look at the Heroes book. Once again, like we said, mature content. This is a mature content game. It probably should have said 18 plus, not 14 plus. And then once again we do have the spoiler warning. I'm guessing this is going to mainly be set up and rules and everything, but you never know. Especially with the Overlords book having the scenarios, this one is probably more just the rules for our heroes. I love the size of the font here. It's just very easy to read. Lots of images, lots of pictures to show the dice, you know, what's going along, how things add up. I'm liking that an awful lot. And your hero turn Overlord. Now the one thing, asset cards that I'm not seeing yet, wait till we get to the very end. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of reference or anything in that. And that's a little disappointing. These kind of books that are so thick, I mean, here's 20 pages. This one, are you going to give me a page count? Doesn't look like this one has a page count. I mean, it's thicker than this one. It's probably about a 30 page. And when you have so much going on in here, you know, having a reference at the back to let you know where all of the movement, where all the skill, where all the action type phases are within here, you know, is very handy. Because if you ever had a question for it and you think, oh, well, here I have a question on, you know, taking an action or attacking or something, you'll go through your rule book, you'll find the first reference of an action. You won't see what you're looking for. You'll see one thing and think, okay, that's the rule. And there potentially could be an additional thing on that later on which changes in what you were actually looking for. And something as simple as a reference book or reference page would have secured that nicely. Next we have our hero cards by the looks of it. Go ahead and take a look at these. Starting off we have Conan. Once again, mature content. And then this looks like a French. Ah, okay. So let's flip you. So it looks like we have a English and a French side, maybe. Possibly some reference cards. Alright, next we have a whole mess of glass tokens. These are probably going to be for energy or something. What it is exactly, again, I don't know. Let's see. There's not really, I'm surprised there's not, I think there may have been one on the back of the box, I can't remember. A components overview. didn't see you there. Can we quickly find, here we go. So 4 fatigues to the little red crystals there. Here we're showing them being in use. I'm betting the blues and them are probably magic. Five gem. Next we have those dice, and if I remember right, when I was looking through the rules, they were showing a progression of strength, how the dice are going to work, where, and again, I don't know which ones are which, but most likely it's going to be where yellow are your weakest, and your orange, and then your red. So if you had the, you know, the 3 singles in the yellow, it's probably 1 single in the red, the orange, and so down the line. If I remember right, I think that's what I saw. But there we have the dice, all custom. Interesting to see how they work out. Then we have some cards. These look like item cards. Now once again, when you get into the cards, this is again another spot where you could potentially have spoilers a lot of times within games. So we will go ahead and zoom in so we can take a close-up look at all of these. Well, I took the cards and I separated them into the 2 different types. These are our items, and these are the ones, I don't know what they are, but they look to be the most potential for spoiler. So we will look at these first and then give a, once again, spoiler warning before we get into those. But here, let's go ahead and take a look at the item cards. All of the item cards have that same back. And then once again we have these. Again, I don't know exactly what they are going to be, but in my first look, they look the most spoiler-esque. These look like spells, is what they're actually starting to look like. Or characteristics on you. Just make this easy on us. Up next, it looks like we have the miniatures. It looks like most of them are going to be in this cardboard box, with the one being here in its own plastic container. We will go ahead and move these off to the side, taking a look at them last. So then up next, we have all of our tokens by the looks of it. So here we just have a whole bunch of numbered tokens with the symbol on the back of them all. Do a punch test on those. Those punched nicely. Next we have a whole bunch of creature tokens. And these look like all of the enemies that we'll probably face within the game. And then that must be their defeated side, maybe? Interesting. And of course that raven, that looks special. Let's go ahead and, oh, and that punched beautifully. So then we have a couple more enemies by the looks of it. And then another raven with a number 1. The other one had a number 2 on it. And then these look like chests. And there's the back side of the other guys. And then these look like our heroes. A bunch of ones and some numbered webbing. So these must be to put on the field. So if you have rubble or maybe water. Then another type of chest, fire, and those look like they're the same on either side. And then finally, player card maybe? Some barrels, who knows what those are? And a well, some more chests. And these look like walls maybe, and then a broken wall. And then these look like they are going to be our player boards. Go ahead and pull all of these out. Here we go. There. Yeah, they'll definitely have to do a zoomed out show you so I can show you the whole thing all in one if I can. So that's how we have our 8 locations, because it looks like there are 4 of these double-sided. And that's board number 1. Then we have board number 2. And actually, no, there are only 2 boards. Because it's 8 quests, that's right. Oh, no, that's an evil looking decimated keep. Very cool. And then here's our ship. So our shark-infested waters, as it said on the back of the box. And here we can even see that shark-infested water. Very cool. For the miniatures, up first we have the standalone figure. He is in his own little plastic case, and he fits in there nicely. What I like about that is he's going to be well protected, but it won't ruin any kind of paint job that you do as you're working on him, because he doesn't actually lock in. And then the tail, the skull at the end by the looks of it. I couldn't tell. So that must be a rattler. For a minute there I thought it looked like he might be holding on to the corpse or the bones of somebody. Right here we have where you can tell where he was put together right there. So there's going to be a little bit of work to correct that seam. But I'm not seeing, there's their mold line going right there. Some decent inner mouth detail. Lots of detail on the skin. This guy will definitely take a wash and dry brush nicely if you're a painter. Very cool. And finally we have the big box of miniatures for Conan. Let's go ahead and open this up. Take a look on the inside to see what we have. Very nice. So it looks like the box itself will protect these very well, but they do not lock into place. I do like to see that. Again, so if you paint them, you don't have to worry about a lot of rubbing, rubbing off that paint job that you have done. We'll take a look at those guys in a minute. We have the bases, so you can mark off your different colors. Characters. Then we have the player boards, and I believe this is going to be used for the Overlord, the Overlord's player board, and then probably some more Overlord minions. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Looks like we have 5 of him. I like his shield. Lots of good detail. Decent face. You can actually see some fingers. You can actually see his fingers there. It's always a bonus when you can actually see fingers and toes. Then we have the archer. When you get to some of these smaller little bases, sometimes the stability of them, well, that's nice. At least that one right there, he sits nicely on the ground. And again, we have 5 of him, and then 5 of this Indian looking guy. Carrying some skulls. And then here we have a slightly bent axe. But once again, here with this plastic, that is very easily fixed. With the hot cold water trick, where you just get some hot water, dip the item that you want to bend or correct in the hot water. It'll loosen this plastic. You bend it to your desired position, then you dip it in the cold water, and that'll set it to that new desired position. And here looks like we have a bunch more of these guys. So we have 5, 10, 15 of them, and then 5, 10, 15 of those guys as well. So next up, we have some hyenas by the looks of it. Now I always love getting wolves, dogs, hyenas, just the chance to do fur, because it gives you a lot of chance to change them up to give different fur coloring. The only problem with these pre-done miniatures that they're already on the base is sometimes it can get hard to get under to their underbelly to be able to change that. Where, you know, if it was not pre-put on here, you'd be able to, you know, paint that on there and then glue it on after you've painted. Then we have 15 of these guys. Very cool. Now we're starting to get into the unique figures where there's just one-offs. Now that looks like a Conan, but he's in the dark gray that most of the enemies are in. So it'll be interesting to see what he is. Because all of the enemy figures seem to be in this darker gray plastic. And now here we have what it looks like are hero choices, where here it looks like we have our Conan, you know, with his Conan sword, the iconic sword from the movie. He definitely looks similar. I mean, he looks like the when you'd see the King Conan from that original movie from the Open. Looks like he had that crown. And then finally, very cool. Well, that is everything you get in the retail version of Conan by Monolith Games. I hope this unboxing helped you to decide if this is something that you would be interested in yourself. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.